So you finally get some time in the shop and you spend the first 30 minutes just trying to get started. You're looking for tools, you're clearing space, and you're just trying to remember where you left off on your project. When shop time is limited, that kind of friction can add up fast. In this video, I'm sharing 7 small habits that help me stay productive with limited shop time. Nothing dramatic, just practical things you can do to walk in and be ready to start building right away. And the first one starts before you even leave your shop the night before. On short nights, I can't afford to spend 20 minutes just trying to remember what the heck I was doing the night before. So every night before I leave the shop, I reach for this notebook that I keep on my bench. And I write a short, simple note to myself about what comes next in my project. Not a whole paragraph, just one short little instruction to future me. It could be something like cut the aprons to 20 inches or sand the tabletop to 180 grit. My notebook right now literally says, figure out dimensions for this base on a side table that I want to build. That way, when I walk in the next night, I don't stand there trying to remember what I was doing. I just get started. With limited time in the shop, wandering around from task to task just doesn't work. If I walk into the shop thinking that I'll just make progress, I inevitably end up frustrated with where I am when time runs out at the end of the night. I've had nights where all I've managed to do is cut half the parts for something before I have to stop, and that never feels good. So every night before I walk into the shop, I decide what would make that night a win. Maybe it's just cutting all the parts to size for something, finishing the base for a table, or just doing a bit of sanding. Heck, sometimes it's even just tool maintenance, like sharpening. I don't try to get every step of my project done every night. I just pick one clear, actionable thing that I know I can get done. That way, I walk away feeling satisfied with my progress instead of feeling stuck halfway through something. This next one took me way too long to figure out. If I try to squeeze in just one more thing at the end of the night when I'm already tired, I'm inevitably going to make a mistake. Sometimes a big dramatic mistake, sometimes just something small that I need to fix the next night. I'll rush a glue up or cut something that I really should have waited on, or just keep trying to push through when I'm already exhausted. Honestly, I think I've messed up more things at 10 p.m. than at any other time in the shop. So now I try to stop at a natural break point when I already know what the next step is, because trying to do that one more thing usually ends up costing me more time than it saves. When I only have a small window of time, I don't want to spend it cleaning up from yesterday's mess. And if I leave tools and offcuts all over the workbench, that's exactly what happens. I walk in and the first thing I have to do is start clearing space so I can even work on my project. So now I deal with it before I leave for the night. I put tools away, I sweep up, I organize a little bit. I'm not trying to chase perfection. I'm just trying to not lose tomorrow's shop time to today's mess. Another place where project progress really stalls out is mid-build troubleshooting. It might be something small like your blade's starting to get dull, or maybe you use a job site saw like me and your fence has gotten knocked out of parallel with the blade. You might catch it on the first cut, but by then you've already committed material and messed it up. So before I use any machine, I've been trying to get into the habit of taking just a few seconds to check that everything is square, locked down, and cutting cleanly. And once a month, I pick just one of my tools and spend 30 minutes to an hour tuning it up, cleaning everything, checking alignment, and fixing small issues before they become big ones that kill my shop time. Investing a short amount of time in maintenance can save a ton of time and frustration later, especially if, like me, you're using job site tools. The same idea applies when I'm about to do something that can't be undone, at least not easily. If I'm working on a piece that I've invested a ton of time and energy into, or I don't have extra material lying around, I slow way down instead of rushing it. Before I commit to the cut, sometimes I'll take a few seconds just to rehearse it with the power off. I'll push the piece past the blade and I'll check where my hands will be, whether or not the board is supported, and if the cut's going to turn out the way that I'm hoping it will. It's something that only takes a few seconds but can save a ton of time and frankly heartbreak later on. Sometimes it's not the big mistakes that slow you down the most, it's the tiny little interruptions that add up over the course of a night. Looking around for a pencil, reaching behind the planer for a hex key, or moving a bunch of boards around just to find one of your clamps. None of these feel like a big deal on their own, and they're not, but they add up over the course of a night or over the course of your project. So I've tried my best to set my shop up to maximize my flow and to minimize the amount of time I spend hunting for things. So I do things like have my most used tools living right on the wall above my bench, or things like a tape measure and a marking knife living in a belt pouch right on my side. These are the things that allow me to just reach for what I need next and know that I'll find it and stay in that flow state. Some people don't like having tools on the wall, and I totally understand that. But for me, this is one of those habits that really maximizes my productivity in the shop and lets me keep building. Most of us don't get unlimited shop time. For me, it's usually just a couple of hours here and there. And if we're not careful, that time can disappear really, really quickly. That's why I work this way. None of these habits are dramatic, and they don't make me faster overnight. But they do make it easier to step into the shop, get building, and stop at a clean point when time runs out at the end of the night. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that when you have limited shop time, being able to work quickly matters far less than being able to start quickly. And these habits allow that. In this video, I've talked a lot about removing those little points of friction when you have limited time in the shop. But there's another angle that I think is super interesting. Check out this video over here where I talk about combining the strengths of hand tools and power tools to get more done in the shop and have more time.